Well, damn. So, Strange Darling is a brand new thriller film that I have had the privilege of seeing last week at an early access screening. Thanks, AMC. The film is directed by J.T. Moner and it stars Willa Fitzgerald and Kyle Gallner. Nothing is what it seems when a twisted one-night stand spirals into a serial killer's vicious murder spree. Listen, I gotta tell y'all, I think Strange Darling might be the biggest surprise of 2024. Strange Darling is the textbook definition of subverting expectations. So let me talk about the story. The story in this movie is pretty crazy. It goes down a route that I did not expect it to go down. I went into this movie expecting a serial killer-esque movie, and while I got that, the journey getting there was completely left field for me. In the beginning, you think you got the whole film figured out, you understand it all, but by that second half point, you're like, oh, I was not expecting that. Matter of fact, I don't think anybody could have saw that coming because, whoa. I don't want to talk about spoilers because the story, it's just crazy once you see it. Even if you are not a fan of this story, you gotta admit, the execution of the storytelling was brilliant. This movie takes a very peculiar approach with its storytelling. The movie is not shot in chronological order, so there are 6 chapters in this story, right? And the movie at the beginning starts off on chapter 3, then goes to chapter 5, then goes all the way to chapter 1, and slowly makes its way to chapter 6, all within a span of 90 minutes. At the beginning of the movie, I was really questioning as to why the movie started off in the middle of its climax. But by the halfway point, I quickly discovered why this movie was not shot in chronological order, because that would have given away the crazy plot twist. Oof, boy, the approach this movie takes is spectacular. And the performances are phenomenal. Willa Fitzgerald plays this promiscuous girl who is into some pretty twisted sexual fantasies. And then you have Kyle Gallner, who plays as this extremely unhinged individual. But the range that both of these actors had was just incredible, and that should not go unnoticed. I am trying my absolute hardest to tiptoe around this review because I do not want to spoil anything regarding this movie. And this movie didn't have a lot of promotion either, but I hope this review reaches out to all you good folks out there. And the cinematography in this movie is gorgeous, and if I'm not mistaken, I believe this movie was shot on a 35mm. So that 35mm really added a lot of flavor to the movie's story and its characters, and also the environment surrounding these characters. You guys ever watch a movie and you see how there's a possible inconvenience for that character, and that same inconvenience is never brought up ever again? Well, not this movie. There is one loose end I thought the movie was never going to acknowledge ever again, but then by the very end, they definitely did, and I am thankful for that because that execution was bizarre. And I might be the minority here, but for those of you that have seen it, let me know down in the comments if I'm tweaking. I think this movie does a very interesting job of tackling the themes of how people are so desperate to seek validation, attention, and love. Yeah, the movie takes a more dark and morbid approach, but from a general standpoint, these themes are quite prevalent to today's society. Now, not everybody on the planet, but there are some people on this planet that are so desperate for attention, love, and validation. Even when that same level of love, attention, and validation is not reciprocated back, they don't care. It still turns them into very shallow versions of themselves. But what do I know? My biggest problem with this movie is that there are some characters that make some rather questionable decisions. For example, if you knock somebody unconscious and then you chain them to like a refrigerator door, wouldn't you check that person for like, oh, I don't know, weapons that they can use against you once they regain consciousness? But what do I know? But in the end, y'all, Strange Darling is just a superb film. It's exhilarating, it's electrifying, it's brilliant, and it is hands down one of the best films of the year. Go see Strange Darling. So, plugging Strange Darling into the rank system, I am placing this one into the pinnacle zone. But yeah, y'all, that is pretty much my review for Strange Darling. Let me know down in the comment section below what you guys thought about Strange Darling. Did you love it? Did you hate it? What is your favorite serial killer-esque type movie? Whatever you thought, let me know down in the comment section below. And as always, guys, leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more, and I will see you all in the next one.